So you've been hitting the gym, building muscle, and staying consistent, but no matter what you do, that stubborn belly fat just won't budge. And this is a problem that most people on their fitness journeys face, and it can be very discouraging. And it just feels like you're constantly stuck in a loop where you're building muscle in certain areas, but you still have a bit of fat that just won't go away. So the scale is either staying the same or it's going up. This entire loop will definitely have you questioning whether or not building muscle and losing fat at the same time is even possible. But I'm here to tell you that despite what the scale might say, losing muscle and building fat at the same time is definitely possible, and we call this body recomposition. Now, the process of body recomposition needs a very careful balance of your training and your diet. Now, the entire process of body recomposition needs a very careful balance of your training, your diet, and recovery. Unlike traditional methods of either bulking or cutting, body recomposition asks your body to do both at the same time, which is building muscle and losing fat, which typically is seen as opposite goals. During body recomposition, your body can essentially pull from your fat stores as a form of energy to fuel the muscle building process. But for most people, a few of the factors that make body recomposition successful are usually often overlooked. This leads to them building muscle but not losing fat. The first main factor in body recomposition is, of course, your diet. Finding the right balance of energy that you need in order to build muscle and lose fat at the same time is determined mostly by two main things: your age and your starting body composition. For example, if you're just starting out your fitness journey, so you are a gym newcomer, or if you've been training for up to about 2 years, then you can get away with eating at a big surplus at maintenance or a deficit. This obviously depends on how much of a beginner you really are. Something that a lot of beginners tend to get wrong is thinking that they need to eat big to get big, which really isn't true, and this can lead to a lot of fat gain whilst trying to build muscle. If you're starting out by eating in a surplus, your goal should be to be eating about 10 to 20% above your maintenance calories and then take it from there. But if you're a more advanced trainee, so if you've been training for about 5 years, then the amount of food that you eat matters more. So unfortunately, for people who have been training for a long time like us, you can't really bulk like you used to. And for this reason, if your goal is body recomposition, I recommend either eating in a slight calorie deficit or eating at a maintenance. So yes, even though you are trying to build muscle, you're also trying to put your body in a position where there's enough calories for it to build muscle, but also not too much so that it can lose fat. So you need to be in a slight calorie deficit. A long and slow deficit, losing around 0.7% of fat a week, will have you losing fat while also gaining muscle. But just because you're a gym newbie doesn't mean that you should bulk, and just because you're an advanced lifter doesn't mean that you should cut. It all depends on your starting body composition. Everyone wants to lose fat and build muscle. That's typically the ideal body goal, but this isn't actually an attainable goal if you are at a certain baseline body composition. For people who start out much leaner, like much skinnier, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult for you to build muscle and lose fat at the same time because your body has very little fat reserves to pull from in order to fuel the muscle building process. People who are in this category where you're super lean or you're just starting off really skinny, it would make more sense for you to start off in a calorie surplus in order for you to build some muscle, and then eat at a maintenance or in a slight deficit when you reach a body fat percentage where this makes more sense. So say 20 to 30% body fat percentage for women and about 12 to 30% for men. And if you're on the opposite end and you're starting off overweight, then it doesn't make any sense for you to start off on a bulk. People who are overweight at their baseline have so much more energy reserved than someone who is starting off leaner, meaning that if you entered into a deficit, you will have more than enough energy to lose fat and also gain muscle at the same time. Even if you are overweight, that doesn't mean that you should try to lose as much weight as quickly as possible. This approach is just unsustainable and it will lead to you binge eating and eventually just putting the weight back on. Then some training tips for body recomposition. You want to do about 4 to 6 exercises during each workout session, splitting these sessions up with 1 to 3 exercises per muscle group. Also make sure that you're tracking your sets and your reps and your weight during each workout, and try to increase the weights that you're doing or the amount of reps that you're doing over time, all while following the same routine for about 8 to 12 weeks. Also, surprisingly, the gym might not be the reason why you're not losing fat or building muscle. Another reason why this could be is because you're not getting enough rest and recovery. So muscle doesn't grow when you're in the gym, it grows during your recovery phase. So what you're eating, if you're sleeping enough, you have to make sure that you are resting and recovering properly so that your muscles can actually grow. If you are trying to body recomp, there are so many different ways to measure your progress. Now, the scale can be a great tool in order to see if you're going in the right direction. But that's exactly what it is, a tool that should be used in conjunction with other tools. So using progress photos, measurements of your arms, your waist, your thigh ratio, how your old clothes are fitting you, how you feel, and if your strength is actually progressing in the gym. But honestly, if you have chosen body recomposition over the traditional bulking or cutting, you have also picked a path that takes a significant amount of time. Pound for pound, fat is easier to lose than it is muscle to gain, meaning that although you could be losing fat right now, you might not have the muscle there to give you that toned look that you're looking for when doing a body recomposition. Slow and steady will make this sustainable for you and more of a lifestyle change and not just a quick fix. 9 to 12 months is a realistic time frame in order to see results or growth if you're trying to body recomp. So yeah, I hope this video helped you in your journey of trying to body recomposition. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below in my comments. And as usual, I will see you guys in my next video.